Salut! Today we're going to go over lesson 11. This one will be a bit easier and won't take as much time, at least I hope. Another thing is that we won't have class for 3 weeks, so I'll post videos about French culture and expressions during these weeks, which should help you catch up if you feel that you're a bit behind on the lessons. So feel free to use that extra time to review any of the previous videos you need to review. Also, to help you follow along, please remember to download the class notes using the link below. And you might see that we need about 10 more subscribers to reach our annual goal. Thank you so much to everyone who's already subscribed. And even if there's no special prize for the 1000th subscriber, it will definitely be a great Christmas gift to see that number gain 1 decimal. So feel free to click on the subscribe button if you haven't already, or the thumb up if you like this video. Anyhow, let's get to our lesson. The first thing we need to see is stressed pronouns. This one is particularly complicated to grasp for English speakers, but it is a perfect example of why you need to know the grammatical terms for every word. See, in English, the word you can be a subject pronoun, a stressed pronoun, a direct object pronoun, and an indirect object pronoun. Yet, in French we have different words for most of them. So it's not as simple as learning you equal to. To is a subject pronoun in French and won't work for a stressed pronoun. So what are these stressed pronouns I'm talking about? Well, I think it will be clearer with examples, but first let's put a table somewhere here on the screen. The stressed pronouns in English are me, you, him, her, us, you plural, and them. In French, we will have a masculine and a feminine for them, so keep that in mind. So in French, they are moi, toi, lui, elle, nous, vous, eux, elle. Now, as I said, it's easier to understand when to use them in context. So here are 5 examples where you would need them. First, when emphasizing a subject pronoun at the beginning of a sentence or when answering with a single word. If you say, me, I like apple pie. In French, you would say, moi, j'aime la tarte aux pommes. Or if someone asks, who likes apple pie? Qui aime la tarte aux pommes? And you want to answer, me! You would use the stressed pronoun moi. Another way to use the stressed pronouns is after a preposition. Though note that this won't work all the time. For example, it works especially well with the preposition with, AVEC in French. So the sentence I eat with you would be translated je mange avec toi. We're going to talk about that preposition avec in a second, so keep that in the back of your head. The third way to use stressed pronouns is when you compare two people. During the last lesson, we learned to compare two people using names, like when we said Mary is taller than John. Well, here, if you replace the second person's name with a stressed pronoun, it works. So we could say Mary is taller than him, which would be Marie est plus grande que lui. Another way of using the stressed pronouns is when you use c'est, as in this is, that is, or it's. Imagine you're home and someone buzzes your bell and you ask, who is this? In French, it would be qui est-ce? Or qui c'est, if you're a Parisian like me and you don't speak your best French in real life. Well, the person could answer, it's me, c'est moi. Or if someone is with you and you were waiting for a female friend, the other person could say, it's her, which would be c'est elle, or c'est elle, depending on if you mark the liaison or not. Now you will see in my notes that for the plural we have ce sont instead of c'est. It may be used with them, however, I will argue that most people say c'est eux or c'est elle, plural, without the liaison. But the correct way would be ce sont eux and ce sont elles with the liaison. So be aware that you may hear both. Finally, there are two expressions you need to know with the stressed pronouns. You can take any of them and add the word aussi, which means too, with two O's, or as well. This will mean me too, you too, him too, or so do I, so do you, so does he, etc. So let's go over our list of stressed pronouns here and add the word aussi to hear them all. Me too is moi aussi. You too is toi aussi, not the band. Him too is lui aussi. Her too is elle aussi. Us too is nous aussi. You too, as in a group, is vous aussi. Them too, as a mixed group or male group, is eux aussi. Them too, as a group of women, is elles aussi. Here I didn't make the liaison for the plural, but you're welcome to make it if you'd like. Now, using the same principle, we can add the words non plus after any stressed pronoun, and it will mean me neither, you neither, or neither do I, neither do you, etc. So let's go over our list of stressed pronouns and add the words non plus here. Me neither, or neither do I, is moi non plus. You neither, or neither do you, is toi non plus. Him neither, or neither does he, is lui non plus. Her neither, or neither does she, is elle non plus. Us neither, or neither do we, is nous non plus. You neither, or neither do you as a group, is vous non plus. Them neither, or neither do they, as a mixed group or group of guys, is eux non plus. Them neither, or neither do they, as a group of women, is elles non plus. Alright, we're done with stressed pronouns, and this was the major part of today's lesson. So let me explain something about how we tell our age in French. It's actually quite simple. Do you remember how we tell time? I'll let you think about it for a second. One major point was that we cannot say it's 4:20. We say it's 4 hours 20. Il est 4h20. Well, for our age, we use the verb avoir, as in we have years, rather than being these years. Our age in French doesn't define us. It's years we have under our belt. So that's why we say I have, and then the number, and then the word years, ans, A-N-S. Because we can't just say I have 80 without specifying what we have 80 of. So using our favorite verb avoir, which we know by heart now, we can say I am 80, j'ai 80 ans, as in I have 80 years, or I am 25, j'ai 25 ans, as in I have 25 years. Now, when asking someone's age, you will have to use the subject and verb inversion. And this is because we will use the masculine interrogative adjective which, quel, Q-U-E-L. We use the masculine one because it refers to the masculine noun âge in French, which means age. So we basically ask, which age do you have? Which would be, in French, quel âge as-tu? Again, a little faster. Quel âge as-tu? One final note on that, because we use the verb avoir, is that if you ask how old is he or how old is she, you will need to add a T to add an extra liaison. We did see this in our lesson on asking questions with the verb avoir, so go back to that lesson if you don't remember it. Therefore, how old is he? Again, being word for word, which age does he have? We would say, quel âge a-t-il? With that extra T in the middle. Alright, 2 more points and we're done for today. Hold on tight. Remember I mentioned the preposition with, which in French is avec? Well, it's not always avec. However, I have a very simple trick to tell you when it is indeed avec. So I just want you to learn when with is avec. With will be translated avec when it means along with. For example, she comes with me. Does this mean along with me? Yes, she comes along with me. Now, I am pleased with her. Does this mean along with her? No. You can't say I'm pleased along with her. Well, it's that simple, really. Every time it means along with, use avec. There you go. For other cases, you can check the book on page 117, but there are not that many, and I would even argue that some examples that don't use avec in the book, in everyday conversation, I would actually use avec. But let's not follow that path, and let's finish with our word CHEZ. The word CHEZ, C-H-E-Z, could be simply translated by the preposition at. That's the very simple explanation, of course. It's more complicated than that. However, it's a perfect base to learn when and why we use it. See, you are probably familiar with restaurants named Chez Louis, or Chez Jean-Paul, or Chez whatever French sounding name they can come up with. Well, it's because it implies that you go eat at their place. This is why Chez Jean-Paul could actually be translated by at Jean-Paul's, as in at Jean-Paul's place or apartment or house. We also use this for going to a professional whose profession uses the noun of the professional. Let me rephrase that so it's clear. The doctor, the hairdresser, the butcher, the baker, etc. These are professions, but the job uses the noun of the person doing the service. So when you go to the doctor, for example, in French, you will say that you go at the doctor's, like doctor's place, chez le médecin. This will not work with the bank, for example, because the bank is not a person. Another example could be she goes to the hairdresser. Elle va chez le coiffeur. Now, the baker and the butcher also have a noun for their place of practice, so be careful because you can use both, so don't mix them up. You can say, je vais chez le boulanger, which means I'm going at the baker's, but you can also say, je vais à la boulangerie, which means I'm going to the bakery, the place. Now, one final point, and it's about translating the word home. The word home is one of the hardest words to translate from English to French because it's a concept. You might know the word maison, M-A-I-S-O-N, but in French it means a physical home, as in a house. So when you say I'm going home, you would almost never say je vais à la maison, but you would rather say je vais chez moi. Now, this is a perfect way to circle back to our stressed pronouns, because to translate home with chez, you will need to add a stressed pronoun after it. This means we can practice all our stressed pronouns from the beginning with our word chez. And I'll only give you the first two, and I'd like you to conjugate the verb aller with the word chez and the correct stressed pronoun when we're done with this video. Feel free to try to do that in the comment below if you'd like. I'll make sure to correct it if there's any mistakes. Anyway, the first one will be I'm going home. So in French, it would be je vais chez moi. The second one would be you are going home. So it would be tu vas chez toi. Please continue as an exercise and conjugate he is going home and she's going home, etc. the whole way up to there. In the meantime, I'll see you on the next one, et joyeux Noël!